Hey guys, it's Elizabeth of ElizabethMadeThis.com, and you have made it to Elizabeth Made This. Today I'm going to talk about my cardigans for the Cosy Cardi Challenge. So this has been something that's been running for the past while. It's being hosted by Amanda from I Sew A Lot and the Stitch Sisters, and I will leave their stuff below so you can go check out all of the great cardigans that have been popping up all over Instagram and here on YouTube. And I'm going to talk about the 3 cardigans that I made today, and I've got little bits of other videos that'll be kind of like popping in after I do this one, but this is just kind of a quick rundown of everything today. So I'm actually wearing 2 of the 3, and then I'll grab the other one in a little bit. But the first one that I'm wearing is this beautiful purple one. This is the Lily cardigan by DG Patterns. It just came out. I was able to be a tester for this particular pattern. It's got this awesome hood, which I lined. The pattern does not call for it to be lined, but I went ahead and lined it. So another video will be coming showing you like really quickly how I lined that. Okay, the other thing that I did with this particular pattern was that I added a lot of details on the pockets with my cover stitch machine. So really, all of the details are on my cover stitch. Now I used the wrong side of the cover stitch, so I had to sew on the wrong side of the fabric. So the only place where this was tricky were on the pockets, because you know, I had to sew from the wrong side. So actually, I don't know if it's possible to see, but there's a row of stitching that is just for my machine, and my machine had some little hiccups there. And then with my cover stitch needles, I just followed along the edge of where that was, so that I could still get the nice cover stitch detail on it. I used this kind of, the fabric that I used is one of the double face jerseys from my Fabric Mart haul video, and it's kind of, it's plain, and I thought about using the second white face of it, but actually I didn't really like it was too much of a contrast for this particular thing, and this purple is really beautiful, so I stuck with the purple. The only tricky part of this pattern really was the buttonholes. My machine kind of despises narrow button bands, so I'm kind of thinking that I really need to go and make the buttonholes before I sew on button bands, and kind of maybe make them a little bit wider than what I need, so that my buttonholer isn't struggling on this. There are a few of these buttonholes that I had to do like multiple times, and that has nothing to do with the pattern. That has to do with my machine, and it gets snagged up on a lot of bulk, and no matter how much you trim it, there's still a lot of bulk there in the seam. And if the buttonholer is like this, it just doesn't, it gets really cranky. My buttonholer is great when it's great, and it is not when it's not. I've been thinking for a while that I maybe just need to replace it. I've had it for 10 years now, so maybe it's time, maybe it's worn out, I don't know. The Janome parts are not terribly expensive, so it's probably worth seeing if a new buttonholer would make a difference. But no matter, these cover buttons that I made for it really kind of cover up the not so nice buttonholes, and they work really well. And the cardigan is really, it's super cozy, and I love the hood, and it's a great double layer. And it has these sleeves that aren't quite, they're about 3/4 length, and they have a little flare at the bottom, just so it's kind of a narrow bell sleeve. And I wasn't sure how I would like that, but I actually really like that particular feature of this pattern because I wear a lot of these fingerless gloves this time of year because I'm a violinist and my hands get cold, and there is nothing worse than trying to play when you have cold hands. Nothing. So I wear a lot of these because they keep my thumbs warm, and that really that helps. That helps so much. I know a lot of people really love those thumb hole tops, but I have found that the shoulder seam kind of pulls on my thumb, and it makes my thumbs numb. So numb thumbs and cold thumbs, really bad for when you're trying to play violin. So yay fingerless gloves. And yeah, you can see that like that's where it's wanting to hang out, that sleeve. And I will show some pictures of this one. I think they all turned out really nice, and I was really glad to do that for Daniela. It's a I would love her pattern. She has such a great eye for making pretty patterns that, you know, have some kind of design detail on them that's interesting and kind of not what you expect. So it's fun. Okay, so now I'm going to show you my second cardigan. So this is a Itch to Stitch Lisbon cardigan, and I've made this pattern before. I did a J. Crew knockoff sweater with it's like color block sections, and it's got fringe on it, and that was a great pattern. This was a really nice pattern to add those kind of details to. And this one I made from this really unusual bonded knit. That's the only, I think that's what it is. It's a strange knit. It's very rigid, like a sweatshirt knit would be, but it has lace on the right side of the fabric, and on the wrong side it is this sweater knit fabric. So it's kind of different. It's got both faces of that going on, and it's because it's lace, I think it doesn't have a lot of stretch or give, so I added some extra ease for this particular sweater, and I made myself a 1-hour challenge to get through this top, and I actually got through in 51 minutes, which was awesome. So I'm working on editing the video for that particular one, because I think the idea of 1-hour challenges is really a great one. And yeah, so that video shall be forthcoming. But I also, for this pattern, I added purl snaps. I treated myself to a purl snap setter recently, and I really like purl snaps, and I forget about them, and they're so easy to pop onto anything, and they're really easy. And after struggling with the buttonholes on the Lily cardigan, it was really nice to just go whack 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 with my snap setter tools. So that was really fun. But alright, this is that, and I will show you some pictures of this one. Oh, I should say too that the bands are from a sweater. I actually used the same, and also the cuffs. I used the same knit in my other Lisbon cardigan. So I still had some leftovers. I'm kind of a hoarder of my knit scraps. I'm always kind of using them for little bits for the kids, or for me, or just for anything. So especially if I find a really nice sweater that I can cut up, I will save every last inch of that and use it. So this is from the other one. It's a cashmere blend sweater, and it has this really kind of cool dotted texture on top of it. It's really soft, and so far it's washed up really nice. It hasn't shrunk at all like a lot of my wool knit sweaters. My husband and I have this joke that wool sweaters are, yeah, he has a tendency to be really helpful with laundry, and then things just end up getting shrunk, which sometimes works out in my favor if I start with a sweater that's too big. Like I have one that I love that's probably my favorite, and it was a little bit too big, and it went through the wash and it got shrunk, and now it's perfect. So, but most of the time, yeah. There's one pattern that I used a couple times, and both of those got shrunk, and it was really tragic the second time because it was really nice fabric. But Sometimes you gotta do your own laundry. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to show my last cardigan really quick. I showed this one. It's an October pattern one, but I'll pop it on and I can show proper pictures. Okay, so cardigan number 3. I think I showed this in one of my plans videos before, but I didn't have proper pictures of it, so I will show those now. But this is just a featherweight cardigan. It's got extra long cozy sleeves. This is an October pattern, and it's got this very swingy kind of front to it that you can cross it all the way over, and it has 2 ties on this side and 1 tie on this side. I really don't know what's the 2-1 configuration with the ties, except that they wrap around my body, and that's kind of nice. This was a really, really fast cardigan. I think it took less than an hour and a half from start to finish, from me like tracing the pattern to like getting it done. So it was really super, super fast, and this is actually a surprisingly warm cardigan for being featherweight. I got this fabric a couple years ago from Stone Mountain and Daughter Fabrics in Berkeley, California. That's a cool store, and this was just a knit that was in their clearance section, and I picked it up and because I like the colors, and it's really, it's warm, and it's just a nice, simple extra layer kind of thing. Layering is the name of the game in Colorado. I think like today there's freezing rain, and yesterday it was like 70. It's just, our weather is always weird and very, very unpredictable. So layers from like now until summer are really the way to go. So anytime I can grab, you know, a light layer or a little bit heavier layer, like those pieces in my wardrobe are the ones that I go back to over and over and over again, because that's just what works in our climate. So I will pop in some pictures of that, but that's all my cozy cardigans for this challenge. And I would thanks to Amanda and the Stitch Sisters for hosting this challenge. I think it's been really fun, and it's been fun to see everybody's things. And hot dog, you know, this is the time of year that cardigans are just so needed, and I've been not having them, and I'm cold literally all the time, and that's just silly. I have a lot of sweaters, but I don't have a lot of cardigans. So just being able to, and again, like I said, just grab another layer when I need it, instead of putting on a whole big giant bulky sweater, is really, really nice. And they really, man, they really can pull an outfit together just without any problem. And I'm finding that they're a little bit warmer too than a lot of the jackets that I like to make. So that's nice. It's nice. There's something somewhere between like a heavy coat that's like super heavy and you're like, you know, having a hard time moving, and a lighter weight jacket that's looks really polished but maybe is not super warm. So cardigans are kind of like the happy medium between those, and it's great. So yeah, thanks for hosting, and this was great. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe below. There is more fun sewing coming your way. And also, don't forget to check out elizabethmadethis.com, and you can follow me on Instagram at elizabethmadethis. Have a great day, and happy sewing.